what I like to follow up, if I may, you talk about markets. And what I know is that, well, you talk a lot about all the supports to that education so that you have a network of jobs and skills that can support the economy. But what about, and yourself in your current role, you are at the forefront of that because you're in the IT and software business solution. But what about the different sectors and how they are impacted by this digital transformation? I know, for instance, for a fact, I read some data and report that, for instance, the financial sector in Albania is very well ahead of its peer in the region and also in absolute numbers in digital transformation. But there's other sectors that are important for the Albanian economy, such as hospitality and tourism, that are less digitized as a sector. And also numbers show that companies in those sectors, they want to invest, I think, up to 30% of their revenues in digital transformation. So there's probably a demand, but it's unsure. I was not sure about how they're going to be able to do that. Do they have the right mindset? Do they know that they can, benefit from that, or how they can get those services? So how do you see, maybe it's a complex question and it's a very long question, but how do you see the link between the policy making at the sector level, the growth of that expertise that you're nurturing, that you said, like all those developers are coming, and now they're going to serve specifically those sectors that needs to invest and have a lot of projects for tourism, for all those different sectors in Albania?
Yes, yes, you're right, and I think you touch on two important points, because both, I see in my view, are very closely related, and with the further development of our economy, especially on the tourism aspect, they will be even more closely connected with one another. And I'm talking about the finance sector, so banking system, and also the tourism. I can say, but this is more like a personal reflection and observation from what I see here in Albania, that actually the pandemics was kind of a blessing in disguise for the tourism sector. 2020 was definitely a year of shock for Albanian tourism. Probably you've heard or you read, 2019 was the highest ever record number of tourists visiting Albania, so the most successful summer season we've ever had. And then this encouraged the tourism sector to continue to invest and to prepare to their best efforts for the new upcoming season of the 2020. Then in 2020, everything came to a screeching halt, as you know. So therefore, the tourism had to, but also I think this was a good thing, had some time to reflect and address the points that they might have not had a chance to do before, or might not have felt the need to do before. So this opened a new area of possibilities. And I think from the perspective of hospitality, you can say that for any hotel or other, let's say, structure related to tourism, digitalization became a matter of existence, life and death. So they started to increase the use of their booking opportunities. You find more and more businesses that have enrolled themselves into the major booking platforms, but also facilitated the payments through credit cards, for example, something which was not possible before, or due to a big size of informal economy, was not even practiced in Albania. I think from 2020 and on, the tourism was oriented towards getting everything they could. So this meant also disciplining in a way themselves towards doing the things how they should be done. This was one thing. The other thing that I also observed is that some simple solution also came up from the pandemics. Due to hygiene rules, for example, you were not supposed to touch a menu. So therefore, many restaurants in Albania or bars in Albania quickly embraced application that was offered by a local startup that through your mobile phone you could scan, and then you can quickly access the menu and maybe even order, so that to avoid contact as much as possible. So these are small things that had a major impact for the business to kind of educate this industry that through digitalization you can have solutions that are saving money, that are opening opportunities to new market segments or to new consumers that probably you wouldn't have thought about before. And I think this is also closely connected to the economy becoming more formal and also increasing the level of penetration of the banking system as a payment tool for all the industry. So I think these two connected will have some very strong and positive developments in the years to come. And by the way, this year, 2022, it's just 2 years after the pandemics, the number of visitors and tourists in Albania, at least last time I checked until end of April, is about 25% more than 2019. So I think there are quite encouraging news on the positive developments of exchanges between Albania and other countries, as I mentioned before, also resuming of business travel, but also all kinds of travel, also due to tourism, have increased and will continue to increase. And I think some sort of digitalization is also fueling this positive developments.
Yeah, that makes sense. I understand what you said. It's a bit like if the pandemic became a sort of a trigger for a boost towards even more digitalization. And now with the implementation of those projects and initiatives, there is, it brought the economy, or at least for the tourism, to the next level in terms of capacity to absorb the demand, to answer, to accept that. So it brought to the next level. This is very interesting. I didn't think about it in these terms. Yeah,
absolutely. And there's also a nice positive development in the last 5 years, I might say. The presence in the market of several innovation centers and or startup incubators, which are programs with a lot of support from EU for Innovation or World Bank or other development projects from all the other programs in support of developing economies. And these startup incubators or innovation centers are actually just bringing the market to a step in which everyone that has some ideas, some initiatives, even small things, can have a lot of support in their day-to-day work. Other than my job as a managing director of Lufthansa Industry Solutions, I'm also serving at the supervisory board of a fintech, a young fintech that is established in Albania 2 years ago. And this has to do with, I think I'm not correct, this is the right term, but it's a non-bank payment or financing institution, which will be a little bit like Revolut, for example. And in this perspective, the goal of this fintech is to actually support all the young people, regardless of their economic background, access to banking system, to be able to be provided with an electronic bank account, to a virtual card. So all the instruments that they need to be able to work more in the aspect of digitalization, also of transactions, and having transactions that are more more cost convenience, and overall towards a better integration of our market, even in the global, more in a global context.
This is impressive.